Okay, so I get that that's super annoying. But have you ever wondered why you need that last note to play out so badly? That need to close an open loop, it seems to be the same thing that makes games possible. Because loops seem to be where interaction is born and where games begin to emerge. When we're talking about loops, we're talking about a behavior pattern where one of your senses causes you to act, or you act and it adjusts one of your senses. So let's say you hear something, you go look for it, or you go look for something, you see something new. So we can imagine that this loop is always playing in the background. Even when you're bored and unstimulated, the circuit keeps going and we start playing around with things at random. I like to think of that basic two-part loop as the play or exploration loop. When we play, there are limitations to what we can do, and we're aware of it. Our actions are constrained by the rules of the universe, and this is a big problem. The cool thing about people is that we can make little models in our head of what our actions might cause. So then we act based on those limited models, and we hope that the universe gets us the results that we wanted. It's kind of like predicting the future, we're just not very good at it. This agency helps us to form goals and expectations so that simpler play behavior that was spontaneous and sense heavy can become compulsive or impulsive behavior that's modeled on our past experiences. It's a faster process. We're more likely to act out a model if we've done it before. As game designers, we're designing the rules and the sensations so that the player can exercise their agency by creating models and acting on them. Loops are all different sizes and games are made up of loops acting together. So let's look at a loop in a game that we've all heard of, the game of catch.
Please catch it.
In catch, when you're catching, we see the thrower throw the ball, we guess where it might land, and then we try to catch it. If we do catch it, that opens up a sequential loop, and now we see the catcher, we imagine where the ball should go, we throw the ball, and then all the variables and constraints of the universe run their mechanisms and your ball either gets caught or it goes over the fence. We can think of our default drive as play. And then when our play becomes constrained by recognizable rules, we create a model based on those rules so that we can select an action to take. Those actions are then processed by the same rules, and then feedback is generated in the form of sense data. So in the beginning, you didn't really have a choice whether or not I played that last note, but you probably created a model of what note it might be based on patterns you picked up from listening to Western music. If you had a piano in front of you, you might have even been compelled to play that final note. And if you did, then you close the loop.